All right, I'm learning how this thing works, and I'm hoping that it doesn't change. Because before we just did a video, and all you can see is the middle part of the couch, and our heads touching each other. I just don't know what I'm doing. I'm waiting for my man Poem. Hit me on the inbox, call me, so I can figure out what the hell this thing is and how it works. I'm just learning how to do this. We're gonna be answering questions about relationships and marriages and stuff like that. We're pretty experienced in that, but I can't figure out how this thing works. What's up, Chris? What's up, Em? We were asked about expiration dates on we were asked if you're married, how do you end it? And what did we suggest? We suggested you gotta wait until there's a full moon, use a black light, and search for the expiration date on the bottom in red ink on a low tide. So pretty much, you're not getting out of it. I mean, if you're really committed to it. So I appreciate that, Chris. Definitely, we'll be doing that book, Marriage for What. We're working on it now. It's tireless. We're just trying to just get as much real information that we're experienced with into it to hopefully help a bunch of people when it comes to marriages in this era, in this time period. We can also do about relationships as well. We got a lot of people that are single or looking for somebody or that significant other, and people want to know how did we do it. I've known Kalea for about 15 years, 4 months and like 6 days plus, something like that. So I think we got enough knowledge and the ups and downs and the things that we've been through. We're going to reveal a lot on these videos as well as in the book as well. So when you can actually know compatible with each other. To know when you're compatible with somebody, compatibility, it comes with an even, again, you're going to hear me always say the word compromise. When somebody's compatible with you, they'll take you not just at your good, but at your bad. The parts that you're not even comfortable with, they're able to identify and speak to you on. I think communication is a huge area of this. Hey Yenny, we turned it back on and fixed the camera thing, so so we're gonna work on that. But just wanted to answer a few questions since we're here. Hey honey, come on. Here we go. We're back. No, just to be if you're compatible to something, you really want somebody that's going to have the same or best interest at heart. And even when things aren't going, as great, you still want to be able to. Oh, she's so distracting. I'm sorry. You want to make sure that the other person and you are on the same page. When I say the same page, I mean you can openly talk to them. You can actually have a real conversation with them. You can vibe with them. They can be open with you. If you're not really honest with each other, you're not really going to get the most out of that relationship or even that friendship. If you have to hide a part of really who you are, it's one thing to not show all your cards because you don't know where the relationship is going, but it's another thing for you to completely lie and not really be yourself. And how do you expect somebody to be themselves if you won't even be the real you? So when it comes to compatibility, you really want to make sure that you're being your honest self, and hopefully they're doing the same. Regardless, it will reveal itself. So once it does, then you'll have a new spectrum or a new thing to explore. Constantly try to get to know the other person. Like, that's huge. Getting to know somebody, it's a fun thing. It's something that you both can look forward to, and hopefully be able to maximize your time together. I still learn different things about Kalea every day, and she learns more things about me. We challenge each other. We ask questions. We test each other or challenge each other. I think like every other month we challenge each other on who knows all the states and their capitals. We'll watch old Animaniacs cartoons. We'll sing Disney theme songs together, and we'll challenge each other, in video games. Like, it doesn't matter what it is, as long as you're getting to know them, more and more, and you'll continue to learn about yourself, and then you'll reveal yourself to them, and you start to see that, hey, if I'm constantly growing with this person, just like in a friendship, there might be, a lot more there to discover, and it just keeps it rolling. Before you realize it, the time just keeps flowing. Um, my wife is an intense video game player, so as you can see, she's really into this demo. I have no idea what this is.
Neither do I, but it's in beta version right now.
It's a beta version?
Yeah.
Okay. But yeah, so we're just touching on just a couple of things. She's playing, what is this called?
I don't know.
She don't even know what it's called. I'm
Death
about
something.
to buy this. Death something. It's on the PS4, but yeah. Also the thing, and I see somebody, Chris, myself at first, but you don't expect it. You see the other side of the person, you're the most, the time it's not good. Well,
Is he just talking about basic relationships?
Well, in relationships, period, you'll a lot of times you're gonna see the side people want you to see. It's like looking at somebody's Facebook, and you're gonna see the good side. You're gonna see the immaculate side, nothing wrong, everything perfect. And until you've actually gone through something, you really don't actually get to really know the person. And that's why you have to talk. You have to communicate and ask those those questions, or not create those scenarios, because then that's just drama. But you want to have those communications of when these things have occurred in their life, or if they ever occurred in their life. And it's not even that you want to be prying into someone's life that you just met to determine if you want to be in a relationship. But a lot of times you can find out a lot more about a person just by finding out what they're interested in, like what's their passions, what makes them tick. And a lot of times they'll open up to you to reveal exactly that. And if you take that at face value, that's usually the person that they really, really are, because that's not the question that they get from everybody. You'll speak to somebody, and then all of a sudden, you ask them a basic question, where you from, what you do, this, that, and the third. And it's like, that's basic. Everybody's gonna ask that question, but you're gonna ask that question that's like, what makes you tick? Like, what makes you get up in the morning? What drives you or motivates you, to move every day? What are you pursuing? What are your goals? Forget the 5-year plan. What's your goal for today and tomorrow? And it's like, wow, something in their life has happened to get them to that point. And if they've gotten to that point, what drove them there? Because it's continuously driving them, and you can see if that's attractive to yourself or not. And then you start to reveal yourself, and they can see if that's attractive enough to be able to start something. From there on, you're constantly learning about each other. So yeah, they might not be the same person they were when you first met them, but you know what? They're not supposed to be. They're supposed to be better than that. They're supposed to be somebody that grows with you, and sometimes you grow apart. People are brought to you for a reason. Some people are brought to you for a season. And when that happens, hey, you take it for the lesson. Every person that's ever been brought into your life has been brought into your life to teach you more about yourself. Period. So once you've learned more about yourself, you'll learn more about how to be able to treat others, how to be able to communicate with other people, and you don't take any of those days for granted. So make that part of your daily plan to get to know somebody else. Find out what makes them go, find out what makes them tick. And if it's something that suits you, great. If it's nothing that suits you, great. You've learned what you want. I think one of the best lessons I ever learned was to know what you don't want. It's easy to say yes to everything. It's very difficult to say no. But if you're allergic to onions or peanuts, you're gonna make sure that wasn't, even in your on your plate. So you want to make sure you let people know what you don't want. Fine, but don't dismiss anybody else based on their opinions on how they see themselves. Your job is to get to know them and see if that's something that you can, continuously grow with, or see if it makes you better. Again, some people come into your life for a reason. Some people come into your life for a season. As long as you learn from it, those types of people you want to keep away from you. And You know, always seem like a nice person. You know, it's just like going to a new job. You're great the first 2 weeks. You know, about a month to 2 months in, it's like, yeah, this isn't going to fly. But you know, everybody has a different commitment level when all the shiny stuff is gone, the enthusiasm is missing. You know, people start to change, and that's fine. It's those that change with you and those that you change along with that you see that you can build something. You know, but I'm just hoping this camera thing worked out a lot better because we did it before and it was terrible, and that was a pretty funny setup that we did and everything. I still didn't get any more ice cream, but my loving darling is still playing her video game, as you can see. But yeah, we're gonna continue with these types of questions and answers and things of that nature, just so we can share our knowledge about what we've experienced, and hopefully to be able to help many of you out there that are going through things, or being able to help somebody else that that's going through something. And you know what? And that's real. That's perfectly fine when you've comfortable in being with yourself, and that's perfectly fine. My mom was kind of like that. Like after a while, she was like, "I'm done. I'm gonna just raise my kids, and everything's gonna be great." And that's just the way it was. We were her bright spot of every single day. She worked hard, so yeah, it's fine to be able to be alone. And I won't even say alone, because you're with yourself. You're constantly learning about yourself, so that's fine. That's the first person you should get to know is yourself before you try to share it with someone else.
Exactly.
All the love that you have and that you want to give to someone else, it'd be great if they're willing to take it. But if you don't even love yourself or have enough respect for yourself and what you're going through, how are you going to share it with somebody else? You know what I mean? So if you recognize that, absolutely, yeah, you want to be alone, cool. Until someone comes along, or if they ever come along. You got friends, buddies, friends with benefits, everything. Doesn't even matter.
Yeah.
It's what you want. It's magnifying, your own truth and understanding that this is what you want for your life, and you want to be able to move forward with it. There's one thing that I learned about people, about men, about women. We don't know what we want. None of us. You could be right then and there, and you'll try to give yourself as many options as possible. If someone said, what do you want right now? You would think of something and then second guess it later on. People, especially when it comes to relationships, I want this, I want that, I want this in a relationship, and you give them exactly that, and guess what? It's the exact opposite. They don't even, choose that. It's like, but that's what you said, and it doesn't work. So you want to be, in a position where yourself, okay? And like I'm doing this whole thing knowing that, I'm passionate about knowledge and sharing information and things like that, and my wife is passionate about video games. So the intensity that you see on her face right now is for this new game that she's trying to master, and you still don't know the name of it, right?
Not a clue.
Oh wow. But yeah, it just comes down to really enjoying who you are, learning more about yourself, and then sharing that with others. And if no one comes around at the moment, that's fine. Time is our best revealer. And the more that you constantly grow on yourself and put yourself in a situation to get a situation, you'll be able to grow in those areas to be a better person for yourself, as well as for whoever that you're sharing your experiences with, especially your time, because that's something that you can never get back. So if you want to be alone, I won't even say alone, you want to love yourself, do so. So well, I did that. There were girls I really wanted to date, or I was really interested in, and they just didn't see it the same way I did. It happens, but what you want to do is you want to make sure that you're putting yourself first. not everything is going to work out in your favor, and that's fine. But you have to recognize that it has to start with you. You know, if you're in a relationship, and every relationship that you've been in, they pretty much end the same way. And people say, well, it's probably the guys that you date or the girls that you're attracted to or whatever the case may be. But then again, it just might be you. You know, it just might be you. Not really taking a real look at yourself. Not that it's a bad thing, but you're settling. You could be settling for something less than, you know, what you're worthy of. You know, and no one should have to settle. You know, I've heard time and time again about relationships where someone would say, well, I'm going to stick with this person because I just don't want to start over and learn, you know, how to be with somebody else. I've already learned how to be with this person for 3, 4, 8 years, you know, so starting over would just be too much. And to me, that doesn't give you the chance to love yourself again, you know. And starting over isn't just for the person that you're, you know, newly trying to date or interested in. Starting over is about you, you know. It's starting over, giving yourself, you know, a fresh start, you know, allowing someone to get to know the side or the person you want them to see, which is the real you that you might have been hiding or losing your identity with. That's one of the topics that we were actually discussing last week that's going to go into our book coming out is, you know, how not to lose your identity in a relationship and how not to lose your identity in your marriage. You know, it's very easy to do so. You got anything to add, honey? Yeah, Paul, I turned the live thing on again to see if I could do the camera thing, but I'm hoping this works. I haven't moved since, but the questions kept coming in. I didn't want to leave everybody out there, but yeah, keep the questions rolling. Inbox, you know, myself or Kalea, and you know, we're open to answering any questions about relationships, about, you know, marriages, anything like that. You know, it isn't for everyone, and I get that. It wasn't for me when I first, you know, was in relationships, but you know, that's perfectly fine as long as you love yourself and you respect the people that are around you. Then so be it. You know, you have long-term, you know, relationships. You know, I think what your parents, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, long-term relationships. So it's just what it is. And you know, it's not for everybody. Some people just don't want a change of title. You know, you get the people that change the title and say, well, you know, y'all remember back when you're like messing with somebody, you just talking, y'all just messing, right? Everything's cool, right? Been messing, talking, vibing,
And then
situationships, you know, all that. And all of a sudden you're like, yo, let's make it official. What does that mean? Making it official? Like if
I think it's when you make it official in your mind, it's saying, well, let's exclusively be together. That's where it originally goes. But then there are open relationships too, you know, and that, but I feel that when you do get with somebody, be it messing or talking or being in, you know, booed up or whatever, that you have to clearly define what that means between the both of you. And once you clearly define what that is, it makes it a lot less of a headache, and it makes it to where you're not gonna get on each other's nerves.
Okay, that works. I mean, I agree. When it comes to that change, though, when they change from, you know, messing and talking to actually having a relationship, it seems that all these new responsibilities show up when you were already doing everything the same way beforehand. You know, so why does that have to change just because we put a title on it? And I think that's where a lot of relationships start to grow downhill. If you were already doing this, then so be it. But once you have to change, once you feel like you have a title, then you're only trying to live up to the title rather than living up to the relationship or with the other individual. Do you think that polygamy is healthy, if not used as an excuse to keep your man from cheating?
Ooh.
To each his own. I will say that not everybody can live a polygamous life. can remain in one if they are the one traveling, I will say, or those that want to stay in a single relationship. I mean, to each his own. Some people don't want all of the same responsibilities or those same things I was talking about, those duties as in a relationship. Some just don't mind having an open relationship. It's to each his own. I wouldn't say that it's wrong,
But
if it's used as a weapon.
I feel
then
like, again, when you clearly define what you want and what you expect out of a relation, both of you expect out of a relationship, then that's what makes it bearable and can help it get stronger. If you like this person, but you don't want to be in an open relationship and you don't want to be polygamous, then you need to let it know. Because if you're just going along with it, then it's like you're unhappy. This person is doing what they want to do. They're thinking you're fine with it because you're allowing them to. But then you're upset, and then their relationship starts to get sour. So once you clearly define what you want, what each of you want out of it, you can save each other a lot of headache and time lost in the long run.
I agree. I mean, one of the things, and I worked in the music industry for quite some time. I would go out, play with, I would be in places where there was going to be, plenty of women and things like that. And her thing was, go ahead. But it was the fact that she was giving me, I wouldn't say she was giving me permission, but the fact that she wasn't, really like bothering me about it. Like, oh, you're around all these women that stand the third. I got to worry about this. The fact that she didn't do that, it made me just want to come home, Hola, Yoma. So it made me just want to be home. Just, it's like I got exactly what I need, right at home. So I never really felt like I needed to, be everywhere and anything to keep me from cheating or from doing anything else. It wasn't anything that was needed, and so in the point of health, of it being healthy, I think the moment that you have to ask yourself the question that, if I have to allow this to happen just to keep him from cheating, it's more of not him cheating, but how you would feel about, that relationship and how, him going out there. It's kind of like to make you feel better. And if it's not really making you feel better or just allowing you to, dull the pain, then I don't think that's healthy. Because, long term, it's definitely going to, creep up on you. It's going to bother you, So, yeah, I wouldn't even put yourself in that type of situation, Like, if it's something that you're going to invite that it's not going to be enjoyable for the both of you, then, I wouldn't even invite it into, the relationship or into the marriage. It wouldn't really help, but don't bring it home. Facts, Sash. Definitely. Like, don't bring none of that. If you're gonna do whatever you're doing in the street, just don't bring it home. I get that, and so, it works for some relationships. Between myself and Clay, we talk all the time, pretty much every day, all day if we can, and we talk about these things. Anything. From politics to the next article coming out, whatever the case may be. And the fact that we're that open to be able to speak about those things, it's great. You have to be able to communicate, and if it's something that you're not happy about and you don't talk about it, it's going to fester. And when it does come up, it may come up at the worst time, in your relationship. And, it could really, really, have things go downhill. So just set your your expectations, but you really got to talk about it. Mainly people make relationships harder because they don't know what they want. It's like going to a buffet. It's like what you want to eat, but once you get there, it's like there's so much here, and you don't want to be honest with yourself. Like, oh man, I'm gonna just enjoy myself and have a good time. No, that's never the case. You want to do so many other things. It's a package. Okay. I like that, Erica. You know, and as y'all read through the comments itself, like, I'm glad, people are chiming in and adding their stories to this, because these are perspectives that not everybody has experienced. We hear about it, we know the words from the dictionary, but we don't know anyone that, is really going through that itself. So, yeah, people will say, you're doing it, so he doesn't cheat. And that's not right. You know exactly, what your relationship is about. It's always made you wonder why most people do it. Just can't be with someone. Right. It's a package. Polygamy. You're married to multiple people. And predominantly in the U.S. it's illegal, but some still practice it. But, play on, play up, type of thing. So it doesn't work for everybody, and some people it's a open relationship, to others it's, polygamy, in which, you're treating all your significant others as equals, and they're sharing an individual, either man or woman, so if everybody's cool with it, then, to each his own, but that's up to them. I wouldn't say if it's wrong or right. It has to be what, how they see it. And if they feel like they're getting what they need out of it, who am I to say that, that it's wrong in that case? But go for it. Sasha. Yeah. Understood. Open relationships and polygamy are different. Absolutely. Open relationships, there is someone's doing something, and it's not about equality. It's really about getting yours, but to each his own. What happened? Wait, hold on. Oh no, my wife's playing another video game, and it's making her choose. I have a choice in front of you. Soul has chosen. Wait, what? Oh no. I don't know what you want to do here.
Do you take the child? Do you take the mother?
Well, everybody's different. It's like you got a whole dish of death tales. That's what it's called. You have a whole dish of different types of cookies, and it's like, well, I'm gonna just try one. Some people just want more than one, and it is what it is. And you try it out. You can be with one person, but you have to be ready for that. When it comes to marriages, when it comes to relationships, you have to be ready for it, like to really commit to it, and that's what it's about. It's a heavy commitment. It's a discipline. It's a consistency. A lot of people aren't ready for it, and then it's not just you; it's another person that has to have that same type of commitment. So you have to feel that you're ready, or you have to grow to it. You have to work on it. There's nothing wrong with trying out different people, but some people just can't be with one person. They just feel like they have more to share or more to love. But I think it's more of an understanding of themselves that they may or may not have discovered just yet. It's good, Mike. What happened, honey?
I know it's always like.
Pick one. Do the eeny, meeny, miny, mo.
That's what I'm doing.
Oh boy. Facts. I'm with you on that, Erica. Yeah. All right, y'all. I'm not going to keep y'all too long. But yeah, I just want to make sure the camera was working correctly. But I appreciate y'all all for chiming in. And yeah, just keep the questions flowing. Hit my inbox. And yeah, we'll definitely keep this going. Probably do this every week. Sounds good to me. All right, y'all. Stay blessed. Take care. All right, Dan, be good.